Before we connect those rooms with doors, and before the project gets bigger, let's write some unit tests to be clear what we want to achieve. Go to Window, General, Test Runner. Let's move it over there. And here we have two modes, Edit and Play mode. Our application needs Play mode. Select Assets folder and create Play mode test assembly folder. And let's just give it a name Tests. Here you have a button to create a new test script. So let's create the gengeon tests script. Let's have a look on it. We're gonna need unity tests, so we don't need all of that. We need to use Unity Engine scene management to be able to load our current scene. And now let's write a simple test. For now, let's ignore this error and let's have a look on structure of it. Here we have a number of the test, the name of it, and here is our preparation phase. And here we have our actual test, and it works like return. So we can't write anything useful after that. This test will turn green if our generator active boolean will be true, otherwise it will go red. It will also turn red if we have an unhandled log error. So be aware of it. Okay, in this test we want to load the scene, wait one frame, grab our generator, which is an object with room generator attached. Then, if our generator is active and enabled and generating rooms boolean set to true, our generator active is true, so our test is green. Okay, let's fix this problem now. The problem is that this script can't see those scripts. So let's create a new assembly definition. We don't need to know exactly what it does, except that it makes all of those scripts in this folder visible. Now let's go to Tests, click this one, open up the Inspector tab, and here with this little plus icon add our scripts. That's it. Now you need to scroll down, apply the changes, and back in the visual code you can see that this error is gone. Now in Unity go to the tests runner, and as you can see we have our function here. To test it we need to click this run all. So it's like a sandbox for our tests. And now we have an error. This test is red, so everything is red. That's because we are not using this generating rooms boolean for now. So let's quickly fix it. In generate rooms, let's just set it to true. And after everything is done, let's set it to false. Now go back to Unity, run those tests. And look, now everything is green. This one is more like a dummy test, because it will usually be green. So let's add another one before we start working on connecting rooms. We want to check if every room has a door. We don't need to load the scene again, because we do it right here. But we still have to grab the generator. Now we wait while it is generating rooms, and after that we grab the list of generated rooms, generator.rooms, look through them, and if any of the generated rooms has no active doors, so it means they are 0, we mark it as true, leave this loop, and then our test fails because found broken room is true. but we want it to be false. Here we have a new function, getActiveDoorsAmount. Let's have a look on it. It's in the room class. It simply loops through this array, room doors, and for every active door, it increases the output integer and returns it. So if it's 0, then it means we don't have any active doors, so it's broken. Now as we hit run all, we need to wait a little bit, and we pass this test, which is something weird because we don't add doors yet. So I've added this line of code, which should show us active doors for every room in this list, which is from generator.rooms, but we don't see anything here. So that means we don't use this list of rooms. That's really easy to fix. We just need to grab this room and then add it to list. Now let's run tests again. And as you can see, we failed them, which is great. We see only one console log because here we know that this is 0, so we can break this loop. Okay, we don't need this debug.log, and we may continue developing our tool. As you know, our rooms contain box collider and rich body 2D, which we can use to draw a raycast from this point to this point and find a neighbor to the right. I also draw a raycast to the left, to top, to bottom, and we may find all of them. Now let's go to the code, and it looks like this. In the room class, we have assign all neighbors, which will need vector2 offsets, and we can use these offsets from room generator. And all we want to do here is simple for loop, which picks the offset from the offsets array, then uses it to create an array of raycast hits, and it is an array so we have multiple hits. The first one will be the starting room, so if we go from this room to the right, we hit 2 rooms. The first one is this room, and then the second one is the room on the right, or nothing. So first we make sure that we have a collider on this hit, which should be true, but we better keep it safe. Then we access game object from this collider, and if it's not the starting room, we may assign room doors to this object. So we set active to true, sprite renderer to enabled, and also make this door lead to this collider.getComponent in children room. Now we call this new function in our room generator class. So we have generate doors, and first we assign neighbors for the generator room itself, and then for every room in rooms list. Now we need to call it, so the best place to do it is in the start function. But first we need to wait until we finish generating rooms. So there is this while generating rooms, yield return new wait for second. And we want to keep it small, so it would be something like 0.05. And then we can generate doors. But we can't do this like that because we have void type of start. So we simply change it to IEnumerator start. Alright, I've made a little mistake and I didn't assign those room doors in the room generator, so make sure you do that and then apply changes in the room generator. Now let's hit play, and as you can see we generated doors now. And one more thing, to save us some time during the development, we're gonna turn off this animated look by commenting out this wait for seconds line and adding yield return null, which will make this process wait only one frame after a new room is generated. Soon we'll add generating rooms in a random direction, but before we do that, let's add two more tests. The first of them is all active doors lead somewhere. So we don't want a situation like this. We have a room and a door leading up, but as you can see there is nothing above this room, so it is active, but its leads to is null. So let's look at this test. And it's pretty similar to this one. Every room has door, except that here we want to check if the door is active and its leads to is null. Then we found broken door, we can break this for loop and this will fail. Now let's look at the second one. We want two-way connections, so we grab this room, we grab this door, we grab what it leads to, so it leads to this room, and we want this room to have a connection to this room. So we check if whatever this door leads to has a connection with this door we look at currently. Now we move to this room, we check this door, this door leads to this room, we check if this door has a connection to this room. Okay, now we get this door leads to this room, and so on, so on. There is some code in this test, but this is just what we use usually. And then we looped through every generated room. We get the current room in this iteration. We get its doors. And we looped through its doors. If the door is active, we grab all of the rooms from the neighbor which this door leads to. We set the flag can go back, check if any of the room doors in the neighbor leads to our current room, and if it's true we set can go back to true. If we can't go back, we found broken connection and make it visible in the console, so it will be easier to fix it if we spot this error. And after that, we just check it. So we grab every room has a neighbor, so we check every neighbor if it has a connection to our original room, and if there is no such a connection, we found broken connection. Okay, now let's run those tests and hopefully everything is fine. Yeah, it is. And it took us almost no time. Now we have a solid base to start working on randomness in our generation. See you soon!